evening, folks, and welcome back, everybody. We are live again after 2 weeks of encore performances. I hope that you all had a terrific holiday and a great New Year's, and I truly hope that 1997 is the year that we've all been waiting for. And I got the prompter operator, Lynette. It says 1996 up there, and I signed checks today, okay? James Woods is our only guest tonight as we begin our third year here on CBS. It's hard to believe that it's lasted this long. And as a matter of fact, our actual anniversary date is the 9th of January, but to mark this auspicious occasion, we've deemed this as Anniversary Week. So big, we couldn't give it to you in just one show. All live, all big, all in color, all this week. Romance, passion, boredom. So much has happened in the last 2 weeks, I could spend the hour going over it with all of you. I had to relocate Mother Snyder to a different wing. And so this morning was reconnect the phone and the TV cable. Why is it that every time you call the phone company or the cable company, all of our operators are busy helping other customers for 20 and 30 minutes at a time? Jeez. Anyway, it's all fine. Mother Snyder had a great holiday, and she thanks all of you who sent her cards, and I'll try and answer them personally in the first few weeks of the new year. Incidentally, how about the Carolina Panthers and the Jacksonville Jaguars, who won their respective divisional playoff games this weekend and will challenge for the AFC and NFC championships against Green Bay and New England this weekend on Sunday. If you had bet Carolina and Jacksonville in the Vegas book in September to win their respective divisions and play for the championships, the odds were 8,000 to 1 against. If you had bet $2 in September, you would have $16,000 tonight. You see, folks, we're in the wrong business. Anyway, during the past year, some of our favorite guests are those who have a sense of humor about themselves, and one was Ron Howard. He talked about the difficulties of growing up with the squeaky clean image of his character Opie, and here is a part of what he said.
I count myself lucky. I don't feel the pull of the dark side to the extent that I have to constantly guard myself from embarrassing situations, but I have grown up under that kind of scrutiny, and there are certainly times in my life where you talked about going in to see Deep Throat.
Right.
I did that in college, and you know, nobody screamed out and recognized me, but I wanted to sneak in and see Deep Throat.
And by the way, what did you think of it after you? Well, have you ever seen an X-rated movie before that? I had not.
No, that was my first X-rated movie. And, but, you know, I've got it on tape, and no, it was remarkable. I think it was made for $30,000 or something and made $100 million. I mean, it was such a success that at one point when I was desperate to become an independent filmmaker, and I was still struggling against the sort of the Opie image and so forth, and I didn't think anybody was ever going to give me a chance, and I'd have to find a way to raise the money and pay for my own films and just become a maverick independent. I actually thought I had a one-shot opportunity, make a porno film, Opie gets laid, put it out in the theaters, make a big killing, and take all the money and become a filmmaker. But I didn't follow that course.
There is a theme to this entire show that we seldom stray from the main theme. Sometimes our conversations do veer into very odd areas. One night when Maureen O'Hara was here, she was very surprised to learn the whereabouts of her long-lost 4-poster bed. Take a look. From Dan, I bought his mother's house in New York. I bought Jane Ford's townhouse in New York. And I bought all the furniture in it. Everything. Lock, stock, and barrel.
Did the bed go with it?
Which one?
The 4-poster bed?
You're kidding. No, it's in my house in Beverly Hills now. I have it.
That is my bed.
You gotta be kidding me.
That is my bed.
Did
They were married.
Oh, you knew then?
Yes. Well, I didn't know you got my bed.
You want to sleep in it tonight?
With or without you?
Your call. Either way, I can promise you a bumpy ride. Fasten your seatbelt now.
My God.
Now, how did you know John Ford's daughter-in-law, and how did she get your bed?
Well, I was great friends, naturally, with John Ford and Mary Ford.
Sure.
And then with his son, Pat, who married Jane, and they were great friends of mine, too.
Right.
And they didn't have all the money in the world when they were very young and first got married, and they needed a bed. And they asked me, would I loan them my 4-poster bed? So I did, on one condition. that when they were able to afford a bed, it came back to me. And I
She
never
died poor, you know.
No. No, Jane became a very, very fine designer.
No question.
And she moved to New York. And one time when I saw Danny, I said, Danny, where's my bed? And he said, Mother has it in New York. And I said, oh, I want to find out where she is and tell me so I can get my bed back. And now you have my bed.
A little moment there with Maureen O'Hara. Finally, may I thank the crew here, all the fellas on the floor, and the people in the control room, the folks downstairs, for the cake of the month. No, it started out with a cake in December, and I thought that this was the end, and I got a letter today that for the next 12 months, courtesy of my crew, I will get cake. My crew has said to me, let him eat cake. You know, whenever Jimmy Woods is here, I've shown pictures of the staff at barbecue or pictures of the staff with their David Letterman jackets. And he's always teased me about that. So tonight there are no staff pictures. James Woods, you on the toll-free line, fire up the color-teenies and watch the pictures, not the Polaroids, as they fly through the air. Thanks for watching over 2 years, everybody.
If the same cold keeps going around your family, try Lysol Disinfectant Spray. It disinfects to kill the cold virus where it's just waiting to be picked up. Lysol Spray helps protect. You have our word on it.
Trust the critics. My Fellow Americans
You think that was the tires?
is one of this year's best comedies.
I think you're awesome.
Endless fun.
Come on, I can't!
A comedy masterwork.
That felt good.
Tremendously hilarious.
Oh my God, he squeezed my breast again.
Hollywood star-studded holiday comedy hit. Any questions?
Not for me.
My Fellow Americans.
Let's stop talking. We're about to bond. That'll make me vomit.
Rated PG-13. Now playing at a theater near you.
The temperature inside your mouth is 98.6 degrees. The same as a sweltering jungle.
Ugh.
But the temperature inside a Winter Fresh mouth tastes... Winter Fresh gum from Wrigley's.
Icy cool flavor, icy cool bread.
That lasts. And lasts. And lasts. You know what I'm talking about. Try Winter Fresh gum for icy cool breath that lasts.
Can MasterCard help stop a thief? The answer lies in the tamper-resistant panel that MasterCard pioneered. It makes a stolen credit card practically useless. And your MasterCard even more secure. MasterCard, it's smart money.
Janice is one of 4 million people suffering from Alzheimer's disease. There are days when she can't even remember the name of her illness. But thousands of researchers are working on a cure, so that one day we won't remember the name of it either.
For more information on Alzheimer's disease research, call for a free fact sheet. 1-800-438-4380.
I'm not an IV drug user, and I know I'm not a gay man. You know, I'm really safe from the virus, I thought.
I was raised in a small town, surely not here.
The shadow of AIDS is among us. Oh, a good friend of mine who I had grown up with got herpes. That can happen to him, it can happen to me.
Because I was having a monogamous relationship, I was having unprotected sex. I figured I was safe. He cheated on me. Maybe I don't have anything now. I could have gotten something, and it's scary.
You begin to realize, why couldn't it be me?
Respect yourself, protect yourself. When I went to Rwanda to film Gorillas in the Mist, I was deeply moved by the mountain gorillas and the people there who carry on the work of Dian Fossey. I learned that the endangered gorillas are one of Rwanda's most vital resources, providing millions of tourist dollars each year. A brutal war has brought tragedy to Rwanda with enormous human suffering. The gorillas will play an important role in rebuilding Rwanda, but only if they survive. Please, help the gorillas and the people who protect them.
James Woods is a two-time Emmy winner and Academy Award nominee, a good friend of mine in this program, here to help us begin our third year and to talk about his newest feature film, The Ghosts of Mississippi. But I have a little surprise for you first. Now, you know, the last two times you were here, I showed these stupid pictures of the staff at barbecue and the staff trying on jackets.
And you did it so gleefully. That's the thing. You show barbecue pictures like happily. Hey, here's the guy with the filet mignon and a fork.
But nowhere near the glee that you expressed when you came out and absolutely crucified me. And as living proof, here is Woods about 2 months ago. Take a look at the videotape.
Here's a tip, okay? Here's a little tip about television. Okay. You come on, you whine for like an hour about the rating system, and then you proceed to show like barbecue pictures, okay? People don't want to watch barbecues of like their own family. Why would they want to watch your barbecue? And the only thing you're worried about is your hairdo. Like anybody's looking at that when they can look at all those onions and steaks. First of all,
great Oscar winner.
You wonder why you're on at 2 o'clock in the morning. You got to be on like at 6 in the morning if you keep this up. You're showing snapshots of people, and you go on and on. You're like a grandmother in a trailer park saying, and here's my niece from, you know, so it just goes on. It's like, you show like 1 or 2 shots of 12 people wearing togas, and then you go on with it. You don't show 58 shots of them, okay?
Hey, Jim.
You're dressed like a mafia maitre d' showing these pictures. It's unbelievable.
So you had your fun, right?
Okay. I mean, listen, granted, am I wrong about this? Did you ever wear that outfit again, by the way?
As a matter of fact, when you called me...
You were dressed like Paladin. You look like a riverboat guy. You look like some, like, 21 dealer in Laughlin, okay? And the mutton chops have got to go. You know this is 1997. Are you aware of that?
I understand that, yeah.
Why are you dressed like, you know, Ward Bond and Wagon Train?
Okay. Now, we talked with your brother Michael, who runs the video store back in Rhode Island, okay? And we said...
By the way, do they know about this? Do they know about this thing here? They don't show this thing. He's got a spittoon next to his chair, okay? He thinks he's like in a bar room in Salinas, California in 1846. Tom, why do you have a spittoon?
You were so anyway, we called your brother Michael back in Rhode Island, who runs the video store. And we said, would there be any, because Jimmy loves snapshots when we show him, would there be anything around the house that we might show the folks watching on TV? Now here, Christmas memories, James Woods now here we are.
Oh, God, are you kidding me?
What are you, about 6 there?
I could look at that forever. Now that's a snapshot. Are you kidding? Who couldn't look at this cute little guy? What's he showing me there? Like, is that a dental thing? It's like
probe.
That was like a gynecological instrument. What is he doing there?
Santa Claus is making a move on you there.
Santa Claus is like some old, he belongs to the NAMLA, North American Man-Boy Love Association or something.
Only you could make the connection. You know?
I'm sorry.
Now, in the next picture, this is James at 14. Remember, you described yourself as kind of a nerd, right?
Does that look like a nerd? That's the hippest looking. This guy could be Elvis. Look at him. I do look a little sepulchral there, don't I? Okay, now there's a cool looking kid.
Yeah, cool looking kid.
Where did he get these pictures? My little brother is a dead man. By the way, he's going to be 40 years old tomorrow, okay? And I just want to tip it right now. In fact, he's 40 years old like now.
Yeah, okay. And here's another one he sent along, okay? Was this when you were in the slide rules? Oh, look at here.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Hey, listen, that
was... you have to wonder about the old maturity quotient when you see something like this.
That picture was taken actually last week. That was actually this Christmas. Oh, God. My little brother is such a dead man. You have no idea. First of all, let me explain something. He's 9.5 years younger than me. Michael, you are so dead. You have no idea. I'm going to incinerate him. The golden balls thing was nice. That was good, you know?
Yeah.
You know, it's one of those things where, you know, hey, lift your head and cough, you know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
The tinsel comes down.
Yeah, jingle balls, yeah.
I used to have these model sailboats in my room. And when I was like 15 and he was 5, and he'd come in and say, can I see the sailboats? These little tugboats and stuff. And I go, no, you can't. You're little, you'll touch them, you'll break them. I made them. Yeah, I was a little
Leave them alone,
anal compulsive, as you can probably relate to. And I had these, I'd painted them and set them out. I was like a total fruit. So, and he'd always want to come up. So finally, it came to my attention that for over a year, he'd like sneak in and he'd like just touch the boats and run and hide and so on. Like 2 years ago, we were sitting around, you know, at the house having fun. You know, he's got his kids, you know, we're all old. I go, what about those tugboats that I had? You know, those model tugboats? He goes, yeah. I know what happened to him. I said, what? He said, when I was about 12, I took them out in the backyard and they put M80s in them and blew the shit. Like blew them, just like there was nothing left, like the Hindenburg, okay? So now he's got his vengeance. Okay.
Let me ask you here about this picture that you're in where you play this racist Byron Dilla Beckwith.
Now that's a smooth segue. See, this is why you're here for 3 years. By the way, happy anniversary. But that's a smooth segue.
Well,
the golden Christmas ball still like racism.
Hey,
you know, you can't be smoother than that. Okay?
Only I can do it, kid.
Okay.
You should have been here the night we had Don Rickles on, and I won't even tell you. But in reading about you in this picture, you say that you fought for this part. What does that mean, you fought for the part?
Well, I mean...
They didn't want you to have it?
No, well, I mean, they did, Rob Reiner is, I think, a remarkable director because he really puts his heart into things. And he wanted to do this a very accurate rendition of this very true story and recent story. And the real character was in his 70s, and so he wanted to get one of our eminent actor stars in his 70s, like a Paul Newman or a Marlon Brando or a Robert Duvall, all great actors and great presences to play this character. And I went into lobby, you know, I mean, I'm an actor in his 40s trying to play a character in his 70s. So, I mean, I'm not right for the part, per se. And it would require a lot of makeup, which would take a lot of production time.
Which you did eventually.
Which I did do, 4 hours a day. And, but I just said that my passion for it was so great, and I knew that Rob, as also an actor as well as a director, would relate to the passion, because that's something every actor can relate to, that you want a part so desperately for reasons beyond just the acting challenge, but because it related to something that I felt was a very important issue in this country, an issue that people, I feel they think they're tired of, but that we will never be and should never be tired of, which is the problem of racial harmony in the country.
If you look now, the picture that was out about 3-4 months ago, A Time to Kill, which was a very compelling picture, and this picture, a very compelling picture. I mean, it's something that we should pay attention to on a continuing basis. I fully agree with you.
And by the way, I'm gratified to see that Time to Kill was successful. Our picture opened very well. You know, knock on wood. Rosewood is coming out. There's some remarkable attention being paid right now to this issue, and it's gratifying to see that people are interested. Just a personal note, I was a little befuddled, if you will, that some of the critics attacked Rob, saying, you know, to deal with civil rights issues in the hands of a white male, you know, as if civil rights are not a white or male issue. Right. I mean, whether it be racism towards blacks, gender discrimination towards women, whatever it may be, these are issues that involve every American citizen. So, I mean, I don't want to sound like I'm on a soapbox, but it's like, you know, Bobby DeLauder, the district attorney who prosecuted Byron De La Beckwith for the 3rd time, and you know, for the 3rd trial, after 27 years of trials in Mississippi, was a white male. Well, thank God he was interested enough to pursue this. Absolutely. Bobby Kennedy was a white male. He was one of our greatest champions of civil rights.
You did not want to meet De La Beckwith. No. You didn't go to see him at all.
Well, we were shooting at the Hinds County Courthouse, and he is kept there because if he were put in the Mississippi State prison population, he would be killed rather instantly. Oddly enough, a black woman sheriff asked me if I would like to meet him. She said, Mr. Beckwith wanted to meet you, and so on. And I mean, and I was like, you know, with the rubber on the head and the hat and all that. And there were people there who knew him and said, you know, at that point I was like a dead ringer for him, and she said, you know, he'd like to meet you. And I said, well, would you please send the message back that I declined to meet him? And it was just kind of a spontaneous thing, but I just thought, I don't want this guy to feel like he's being celebrated for crying out loud, you know? And I want him to know that I really didn't want to meet him, and I wanted him to know that this movie wasn't about him. He's the linchpin to a greater story involving Medgar Evers' life, a great civil rights leader, and Bobby DeLauder's life, a man who I think has carried that mantle. You know, a black man died and a white man carried the mantle to justice, and I think that's a great story to tell, and I'm proud to have been a part of it.
But we're not celebrating the man who took the life of Medgar Evers.
Certainly not.
It's like there was a what do they call it, a rebuttal in the paper this morning. There's a picture out now about Larry Flint. You know, Larry Flint.
I read that rebuttal in the LA Times.
And I thought it was interesting. The man said, you know, what we're celebrating here is really not Larry Flint as an American hero, but the First Amendment as an American icon and necessity. I thought that was very well put.
Right. And I mean, it's interesting because I've had some complex feelings about that picture. I think it's a brilliant picture. Friends of mine produced it, you know, Oliver Stone and Janet Yang. But it's a provocative picture because the issues are about First Amendment and so on. Are, you know, would Larry Flint have been such a champion of the First Amendment had he not needed it? And what's interesting about all of these civil rights issues is that we always want to champion them when it's convenient to do so. But when things aren't politically correct, we're sometimes not so predisposed to be interested in those subjects. And I, for one, am glad when people realize that, you know, the Constitution is an important document, especially when it protects those of us who are not instantly the most likable people.
In talking about political correctness here, I'm thinking about the case of the little boy who kissed the 6-year-old girl and they pulled him out of school.
Nonsense.
Okay. Jimmy, if the little boy had kissed another little boy, nothing would have been said.
Right.
Nothing would have been said for fear.
Well, you know, I have to tell you, and this we're treading into, you know, dangerous waters here, and yet, you know, hey, why not?
Hey, but you know something? We've always been in dangerous waters. From the time we threw the tea in the harbor, kid, we should be in dangerous waters. Democracy should be a very dangerous thing.
Yeah, I think it should.
We should always be on the edge here.
And this is just my own personal opinion about these things. I once spoke with Warren Berger at a commencement. And he said, you know, the Constitution is a living document. You must protect it, but the spirit of it has always been the same. And it's funny because we're dealing now with the issues of reverse discrimination, you know, with this affirmative action proposition and so on. And I mean, these are things that challenge a lot of people because, you know, a lot of people are affected one way or the other. I think that sometimes the most vocal and virulent people in movements tend to be the ones who ruin the spirit of a movement. You know, that issue that happened with that little boy and so on, I think so undermined the all-important steps that were made by women who had very clearly been discriminated against, you know, throughout the history of this country. But to hear these women get up and say, well, it's important because, you know, the boy who kisses a girl when he's 7 will be a rapist when he's 21. It's like,
no. And the frivolity of that undermines the real necessity for the laws that we have passed and the things that we have changed. I have to pause here for a commercial. We're with James Woods. The picture is called Ghosts of Mississippi. We'll continue after these messages.
Mornings at the O'Briens are now 3 times more interesting.
Coffee. Thanks to Folgers 3 special wake-up calls. Folgers Coffee House Coffees. There's French roast, hearty and robust, full of flavor. Gourmet Supreme, a well-balanced, truly harmonious blend. And 100% Colombian Supreme, distinctively rich and smooth.
The best part of waking up.
Folgers Coffee House Coffees.
Where do germs live that surround your gums and teeth? Plaque. Think you're immune? Take the plaque scratch test. Scratch a tooth up by your gum line. We won't look. That film is plaque. It's a magnet for germs. That's why you should remove it with advanced formula plaques. The only brand proven to remove more plaque before you brush and thousands of germs with it. Remove plaque and germs with advanced formula plaques.
When Gerald McRaney tries to stop an abusive sheriff,
He's worse than you think.
can his family's act of faith save him? A surprising new promised land, CBS Tuesday.
This story did not end the way you might expect. This one didn't start the way you might expect. Expect the unexpected on Coast to Coast, where extraordinary drama is found in a place television rarely dares to go. Your own backyard.
She's not breathing. She has no pulse. Start CPR.
What's up?
Hi. Well, what's the worst that can happen?
What's she on? One of the kids said it was heroin. She's flatlined. Clear.
This could have been me. But I made the right choice.
Stay drug-free. If you need help, call this number today.
Doers. People who do something with their lives. They're hidden in small towns, thriving in big cities. Some have the most stuff, some have the least. They're born into sturdy houses and single-parent homes. Doers know no gender, and the only race that counts is the one that's being run. Doing something with your life, it's not about where you come from. It's about where you're headed.
The Navy encourages you to rise to the challenge.
We have a brief scene here from Ghost of Mississippi, which you can set up for us.
This is during the final trial, when Delia Beckwith was in his 70s, being tried for the murder of Medgar Evers, a civil rights leader. Bobby DeLauder, the assistant district attorney, was in the men's room, and Delia Beckwith, who was on bail, so he was free to walk about, actually walked in the men's room, and the two of them were alone in the men's room, and this a version of the scene actually happened.
Okay, here's a little bit then from the Ghost of Mississippi.
Mr. DeLauder, something happened to you in your boyhood make you mean-spirited enough to turn on your own? Aren't you out doing what the good Lord in the state of Mississippi got every right to expect you to be doing?
Which is?
Putting niggas away for killing white people instead of the other way around. You know, you and us, Mr. Peters. Now, y'all ought to be run out of this state perpetuating this foolishness, and y'all probably will be.
Mr. Beckwith, this is not some deer you brought down. This is a human being.
A deer, Mr. DeLauder, is a beautiful animal. It's one of God's creatures. I would never kill a deer. A nigger, on the other hand, well, that's another matter entirely.
Are you standing here and admitting to me that you
killed Medgar Evers? What if I did? It's not like there's anything you nor anybody else can do about it. Yes, sir.
We're gonna see about that.
Oh, that we will. That we will.
You know, we've all watched her through the years. When did you learn to love the bad guy?
You know,
I mean, think about Jimmy, the guys you played.
I'm watching this, I'm thinking, you know, the guy with the golden balls and now this. You know what I mean? It's like, it's an arc. You know, you have to admit there's an arc there.
Talk about a segue, huh?
Boy, my brother, I'm going to wring his little chicken neck. Anyway, yeah, it happened with the Onion Field. It was such a great opportunity to play that part, another part that I fought for tooth and nail. And somehow when you have a kind of splashy role like that, one of the first times in movies, it was one of the first movies I did, and people respond to it, well, you know, it's not like you have a great opportunity to just pick your shots the next time around. So now another great role comes along, and they say, hey, how about the guy to that? Maybe he could do this. And a lot of times you get on a path. And oddly enough, I mean, I was the guy in school that people, you know, like pension rolling down the hill outside of gym class. You know, so it's not like I'm like innately, you know, was innately predestined to be playing the bad guy, because I'm not really very tough at all. I'm kind of like a wuss, to be honest with you. And so it's just odd that I ended up playing these parts. But I guess I was like, you know, a pretty competent actor, and I got this one wonderful part, and it led to kind of another wonderful part. And then I became kind of fascinated with
evil?
No, not with evil per se, because I think evil is, I truly believe that evil is a concrete, exact thing. I don't believe that the Menendez brothers got the wrong size tennis racket when they were 12 years old, and somehow, gee, you know what? Later on, let's shoot old mom in the face 6 or 7 times, reload and hide the shells. What do you say? Because you know that damn tennis racket thing.
It wasn't right. Yeah.
I can't get it out of my mind. You know what I mean? I think that they're just evil scum. You know, evil scum. They've been evil. It's in their genes. It's some kind of satanic
bad seed.
It's bad seed.
Okay.
You know, Susan Smith is bad seed.
Bad seed.
She didn't drown her kids because she was molested by her stepfather. She drowned her kids because the rich kid in town wanted to bang her, and you know, he didn't want kids. And she said, "Hey, well, how about I drown him? How about that?"
No, she's just evil.
She's evil. So, but what I'm more interested in, and I think
Beckwith, evil.
Yeah, Beckwith's totally evil, and that's why people say, you know, interviewers say to me, well, when you play Beckwith, you know, do you look for, actors I said, they look for the part of an evil person, you know, bad guy that they can identify with. It's a bunch of, okay?
Yeah.
There's nothing, what do you want to identify with in this guy? He's a pompous, loudmouth, racist, stupid, bigot,
scum,
pompous, blowhard.
Yeah.
Okay, there's nothing about this guy I like. He's a bad dresser even, with all due respect. But, you know, and it's just kidding, I'm just kidding. Would I tease you anymore?
Yeah, Mr.
You're in your third year.
Yeah, Mr. Brooks Brothers.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Okay, so tell that to Ralph Lauren, who, by the way, didn't give this to me free, so why am I giving him a plug? Anyway, my point being is that what I look for is, I was always, one day I said to myself, these guys, these killers, you know, guys are killers. So they go around all the time like they're killing all the time. You kill for 1 nanosecond of your life, and the rest of the time you got to go to the grocery and get the, you know, preparation H and the thing at the drugstore. I mean, what do you do when you're sort of a bad guy, but you got to live a life? That's what I'm interested in. So there's a little scene in Ghost of Mississippi where I'm sitting with Thelma, my wife, and we're waiting for the verdict. And I just thought, you know, I read an interview where he said, you know, this Thelma, she was a damn Miss Chattanooga. You know, this guy's like bragging about this old bag of Miss Chattanooga. So I do this in the scene. I just had this thing. I said, Rob, do you mind if I'm like flirting with Thelma in the background? And I'm in the background going, Snoochie, Snoochie. I'm doing all this like weird stuff. And I just thought, this is what this guy would do. And later, Darrell Evers, Medgar's son, Medgar Murley's son, said to me, he said, he would do weird stuff like that. He was just like this loony old fart, you know, who would do this weird stuff. And I always like to bring that stuff to bear, because when you're watching this stuff, all of a sudden you think, wait a minute, this is a man who shot somebody in the back. And then it becomes twice as chilling.
What won't you do? What bad guy wouldn't you do?
Oh, I wouldn't have to do anything involving child molestation where the guy had to. I mean, I've been offered those parts, and I don't think it should even be dealt with in film unless we do it the way we did an indictment where you show that there was a witch hunt, but you're not showing any child molestation. But I don't think children should be put in sexual situations, even simulated in film, because they don't have a choice about that. So I think if they are put in that situation, you may be possibly damaging somebody for life, and I don't think we have a right as adults to do that.
While you make a comfortable living doing the parts that you have fought for over the years, others make far more doing commercial work. I could mention names. And the last time you and I talked about your choice of the work versus the money you could make if you'd gone a different way. With you, it seems to me, and I may misread you totally, that you're not in this for the $2. That you're not in this for the money.
I'm not. I'm honestly not. In fact, right now, what I'm looking for is I'd love to do I did a little movie called Killer, A Journal of Murder, actually, which is going to be out on video. I mean, it played just in L.A. They played it for a Liskin Art House Theater piece. And my brother was in it, and my mother, by the way, my nieces. I had the whole family in it. And they were
You didn't have the Christmas balls.
No, I didn't have the Christmas balls, because those have been retired, Tom. They're in the Smithsonian next to Fonzie's jacket and your sideburns. But anyway, because those can't be real. Anyway, no, but I'm just, we're old friends, so, you know, everybody knows I'm teasing him. He's fine. But this is not to say if a wonderful, fun, you know, I mean, I would love to have done, say, In Line of Fire, or one of those, one of those movies, just because they're fun to do. I did The Specialist.
And another picture that you did that was totally out of character for you was the picture you did with Dolly Parton, where you played the reporter.
Right.
And you almost were romantic there. You were.
Well, Tom, thank you. I was supposed to be romantic, not almost. So I'm glad that I failed.
But you know what I'm saying to you, Jimmy.
I'll kick your spittoon off the stage. No. Listen, Snoochie. No, anyway, to be honest with you, I did that just to see what it'd be like to, dance with Dolly. Who's going to turn down a chance to dance with Dolly Parton? I had a love scene with Dolly Parton. You going to pass up that chance?
Absolutely not.
Okay, but also, I mean, because she's just such a great person and a lot of fun, and she's an icon, and you want to, be in bed with those babies. But anyway, on film. But I'm joking. I'm being silly. I'm being a hard time, because you can see I'm a kidder. You saw the golden ball thing.
About 5 years from now, you're going to be on top of a building in Westwood screaming at people, and we're all going to say, we knew the day was coming.
I was there last Thursday with my golden balls and my sniper rifle. I couldn't decide what to do. It was Christmas. I said, hey, bring out the golden ball. No, but I mean, this is really, I'm glad we did this serious Ghost of Mississippi plug tonight. Thank you. No, but I think that a lot of times the commercial stuff is just boring from an acting point of view. I don't have much fun doing it unless it's a terrific, fun picture to do.
I understand.
And I just, I'm 49 years old. I've been doing this for a long time. I was talking to Jodie Foster on the set of Contact. I'm doing this new picture, Contact, Bob Zemeckis' film, with her and Matthew McConaughey, and a wonderful cast. And Jodie confided an interesting thing in me. We were talking, we were admiring Matthew for his kind of freshness, and he's a wonderful guy, and he's got this great career starting. He's going to be a big star, or is a big star, and just a terrific guy. I played golf with him. And she said, God, is it fun to watch him, because he's just so fresh and so impressionable, and he just gets out there, and it's all so real. And I said, yeah, we old pros, it's tough, because she's been acting since she was a kid. She said, yeah, what's your biggest difficulty in acting? And I said, getting excited about it. I mean, not that I don't. I'm as excited when I do good material, like when I did Ghost of Mississippi, as I've ever been in my life. It was like doing it for the first time. It's like, like a virgin, love Madonna.
I understand.
Except, I don't know how she could imagine that. But I mean, I'm joking, Madonna. I'm kidding, you're a mother.
You could do stand-up, couldn't you? You really could go and do stand-up.
But in all seriousness, folks, and Jodie said the same thing. She said that's why she has to work with great people like Bob Zemeckis on great material like this movie we're doing, because it's hard to get it up for it, otherwise.
The greatest challenge you've had in terms of a character you've had to play, Roy Cohn?
It's a difficult question. I'll tell you why. Because the ones that look the hardest, because I think all actors who really love it, and many of us do, and many actors are really good, and some don't get the credit for it. Like Bob Redford, everybody said was such, a good-looking guy and so on. He's an amazing film actor because he really understands film, for example. I mean, he understands the nuances of film. Actors get what he does, for example. You always go for degree of difficulty. It's like one of the things I like the most. Roy Cohn had a tremendous degree of difficulty. So did Byron De La Beckwith.
Yep.
In a way, if you ask any Olympian athlete, if you're going to do a 3.5 off the top, high, it's almost easier than doing like a simple straight, because you're so into it, you don't have time to think. One of the hardest things to do is, like, I just did this little thing for Hallmark called The Summer of Ben Tyler. I played kind of a sweet guy, and he has a wife, and there's this, it was, again, a picture about race problems. And it's like really hard, man, to just stand there and be quiet, bland, simple. I don't like to be bland, Tom. You want me to come over there? I'll get out of this chair.
No, but no, you know what I'm saying.
But no, it is hard to be, I won't say bland. I mean, I know I'm teasing you when I said that, but I think of Greta Garbo and Queen Christina when she was doing that great scene on the bow of the ship when she's lost everything, she's lost her country. And there's a famous story about her standing on the bow of the ship, and she kept trying to act this great loss, and finally he said, think of nothing. And because Garbo was such an amazing, great movie star presence, when she thought of nothing, all of a sudden the audience could imagine everything that she was supposed to be thinking. It's the hardest thing to do. It's the hardest thing to do nothing.
We're with James Woods and you on the toll-free. James is currently appearing in Ghosts of Mississippi. We'll be right back after this break.
What's more amazing than the places you can go on the internet? The fact that you don't need a computer to get there. Web TV from Philips Magnavox. The internet now on your television at an affordable price.
It's lunchtime, and what are we having with our burger today? Wow, you get a big 28 grams of fat with this one. And this one serves up an amazing 39 grams. A great sandwich doesn't have to have all that fat. At Subway, 7 of our 6-inch subs have 6 grams of fat or less and taste fresh and delicious. Take the Subway challenge and take one bite. If you don't think our subs are great, you get your money back. Take the Subway challenge at a Subway near you.
They're coming from Japan, from Russia, from everywhere. But they all wind up in the same place. The Wound & Wound Toy Company, one of the world's largest collections of wind-ups. LA's hottest movers, shakers, and big talkers. So bring your inner child, your real child, and your Visa card. Because at the Wound & Wound Toy Company, you won't wind up with anything. Using American Express, Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
You're ready to quit. Great. Now, which patch? Single strength Nicotrol? But that means one single step. If you're not comfortable with that, you may want Nicoderm CQ. CQ's a 3-strength program. You start with the highest strength and gradually step down till you free yourself of nicotine. And gradual is the method doctors and pharmacists prefer. Nicoderm CQ. The power to calm, the power to comfort, the power to quit successfully.
Send email, get sports scores, find dinosaurs. Is something missing? Exactly. The computer. Web TV from Philips Magnavox. The internet now on your television at an affordable price.
He was a man in conflict with his family.
It's not fair you just showing up when you feel like it.
Then tragedy forced a fireman to re-examine his life.
We got a fuel tanker on fire.
Based on a true story.
We're getting out of here, okay?
He finally learns to put someone else first.
I'm not leaving you.
But is it too late? Patrick Duffy, Heart of Fire, CBS Tuesday.
You want someone to warn you if a dangerous drug could cost your child's life. We will. A 48 hours every parent must see Thursday.
It's hard to back away from a fight, especially when you got people around you that's, calling you a punk because you didn't fight. But as long as you can sit back and say, I know in my heart that I'm not a punk, you can walk away from that fight. I think a lot of times guys just get mad at somebody for something real simple. And I think people should try to get along with one another instead of trying to have this real macho attitude.
So, whose influence
I hang out with a pretty trashy circle, the circle that helps this circle. It starts when we recycle trash at home. It's completed when we buy products made from recycled materials. Check the label for something called post-consumer recycled content. Then buy the highest percentage of it you can find. Complete the circle.
Call 1-800-CALL-EDF for your free Buy Recycled shopping guide. 1-800-CALL-EDF.
I've never asked you about the stuff you did early on, like the time you auditioned for a musical in New York and you had to sing.
I had to sing. Ah, God. I was so broke. I had literally $30 to my name. I'm telling you, when I was broke, I was broke. And they were doing a musical, and I thought, well, I got a chance, because you couldn't even get an audition in those days.
And when was this, 50s?
No.
60s?
Tom, do you want me to get out of this chair?
No.
I can come over there, okay? No, this is like in the 70s, thank you.
Quit your Rickles, okay? Just be Jimmy Woods, come on.
Okay, it was in the 70s. And quit your Rickles. It was in the 70s, and I needed money so bad, I said, I got to get this job. And they wanted me to sing a song. So for some unbelievable reason, I chose, remember that Judy Collins song, Both Sides Now?
Oh, I looked at
Bows
one.
and flows of angel hair and ice cream castles in there. So, and I can't sing with her crap stuff. So I go and I have enough money to take one lesson with some guy on the piano. And I don't know anything about music. So he plays it exactly as it's written on the sheet music. So I bring it in, and it's like me and the cast of a chorus line. I mean, I was the only guy who'd been near a naked woman in the past 20 years, okay? In the whole theater, okay? So we go down, I go to sing.
How close were you?
Closer than these guys, believe me, okay? Last time they saw a naked woman, she was giving birth to them, okay? So anyway, I'm on the stage, and I'm singing the song, and the guy starts playing it differently, and so I'm like, I don't know anything about music. I am so bad. I'm saying, and I'm off key, and I can't hear it, and I'm having, which I'd never had as an actor. I can fall asleep on stage when I'm performing, but because I'm confident about acting. Singing, I have no confidence.
Right.
I literally can't hear the music, and I'm going, bows and flows of angel. It was so dreadful. And so they go, stop. And they go, thank you very much. I go, no, just, let me just,
I'm not through with
I start again, so they go, thank you, really, we're not.
We really appreciate it.
As I walk out, I'm walking out, and I got that awful, that thing, the sweat coming down, into your shirt collar and down the side of your thing like this, and as I walk by 12 of these guys, who are floating. I mean, I'm not being homophobic, but it was these guys are like half, and as I walk by, one of them goes, you are one brave woman, let me tell you.
And then you did commercials. You did a commercial for pork and beans one time.
I did a wonderful commercial for Campbell's Homestyle Pork and Beans. It actually had a name, this commercial. It was called Hometowns. And the idea was that all these people, great actors, a lot of them from Second City, we were all supposed to be, and I was new to New York, so it was I was a new face. It was Alt Melsky did it. They were this great commercial house. And it was all these people at a boarding house, supposedly. And the myth was, people think everybody at boarding house is also warm and cheerful, and they all know each because they all eat a common meal. And in fact, the way this commercial started is we're all sitting there in this big bowl of pork and beans in the middle, Campbell's pork and beans, and we all hate each other. We don't know each other, we don't talk, we're all sitting there, everybody's miserable. And then they all sort of put the pork and beans down, and they start eating them, and, Elizabeth Wilson goes, Walla Walla, Washington. And what happens is we all start saying our hometowns because it reminds us of our hometown.
Home cooking, right.
And of course I had to come up with a shtick, which is I said to the director, how about they all say it? And then me, because I was this little doofy guy, I go, Coalwood, West Virginia. And everybody kind of turns like I'm this total jerk, you know what I mean? And everybody kind of drops their fork. So they did it and they ended it. This is my first time on camera ever in my life. I say 2 words, Coalwood, 3 words, Coalwood, West Virginia, okay? We get a letter from the governor of West Virginia saying that if they continue to portray West Virginians in this offensive fashion, the state of West Virginia is going to boycott Campbell products. So I got cut out of the commercial. So much for being inventive, And I didn't have my golden balls. If I had the golden balls, it could have worked.
Where is our sense of humor going in this country?
I don't know.
I mean, how innocent. Coalwood, West Virginia. So what?
I mean, it's the first words I ever uttered on film. I start the second Civil War.
God, how I wish I had them now. Happy New Year, young man.
You too, Tom. And congratulations on your 3rd year.
Okay.
I'm glad to be a part of it.
Thanks a million.
And I got to tell you, you let me tease you, and I have to tell you all the teasing is really, truly deserved. It's good to see you.
Good to see you, sir. Okay. Happy New Year. James Woods is the guest. The picture is called Ghosts of Mississippi. Back after these messages.
Soon, you won't recognize me, because my New Year's resolution is to regrow my hair with Rogaine. Because now, you can get this new Rogaine starter kit, a 4-month supply for half price. So go for it, and get a real head start on the new year.
If the same cold keeps going around your family, try Lysol Disinfectant Spray. It disinfects to kill the cold virus where it's just waiting to be picked up. Lysol Spray helps protect. You have our word on it.
Just for the feel of it, just dig the appeal of it.
Everyone is singing to the sound of Diet Coke. Just look under every cap of specially marked packages for a 1 in 9 chance to win free CDs and trips to the Grammys.
So there, my place, or your place with it. Diet Coke, yeah! Ooh, one more time.
Tonight on The Late Show.
Man, I don't know if I can get my lips around this one.
A whole lot of Ray Liotta, plus comedian Norm Macdonald. Tonight, only on CBS.
Judge Luther Charbonnet may let you bend some rules.
Gambling's against law. That's why we're calling game day.
But one thing he won't let you do.
You dragged me and my family into it.
Is mess with his family.
And I'm going to take you down.
Larry Heckman returns in Orleans. 2-hour series premiere Wednesday on CBS.
According to Ojibwe legend, a little child had a dream about the best way to gather wild rice, that it should be knocked from the stalks with blessed sticks and parched in the sun and danced on to remove the husks. The people did this, and they made it through the winter with enough to eat, which is just one reason why the Ojibwe have always made it a point to talk to their children and to listen.
Help preserve traditional Native cultures by supporting the 29 American Indian colleges.
This is 911 operator 224. What's your emergency?
We need an ambulance. Oh, we got my bracelet. I think he's gonna die.
Okay, please try to calm down.
He's unconscious. He's bleeding. Discovered his
I need to
blood.
get some information from you, okay?
Okay, hurry.
Okay, where are you?
At the corner of 17th and Main.
An ambulance is on the way. Stay on the line. Tell me what happened.
He just started freaking out, smashing things, and then he put his fist through a window, and now he's bleeding.
Okay, was he using any drugs?
Yes.
Do you know what he took?
Oh, some speed, meth, I think.
Okay, how much did he take?
I'm not sure.
We got an ambulance going over there right now.
Please hurry.
Those of us who have been lucky enough to really discover a suitable career have usually followed all kinds of different paths to get there. Our pal Dennis Miller was here one night and described his own unique journey.
I never thought this would happen to me. It really
I understand what you mean.
It blows your mind. It really boggles your mind.
It boggles mine. Every day it boggles mine.
I remember getting out of college and sitting there in this real estate seminar, and this guy telling me about how hard we'd have to work, and sitting in a bad hotel like a Hyatt, like some, like an S seminar. We weren't allowed to go whiz. I had to listen to this guy drone on about real estate for 5 hours.
For me, it was selling insurance.
Yeah, and then he gets to the end. He said, now you don't get anything except your commissions, you know, and I'm thinking, I'm in hell. I don't even know what I'm going to do for a living here. I'm a nutcase. Next thing you know, I'm at an all-gay florist star. I'm the delivery man. You know, I'm coming in the morning, 8 a.m. They're already doing production numbers from Hell's a Poppin'. I'm this far away from, you know, myself. I'm thinking, what?
Thank you so much for that.
It's a flavor.
You know, the last time you couldn't wait to get out the F word. I mean,
And then I worked as an ice cream scoop. I remember I was like 5
I don't want to go there. Is what you were almost into?
I was 5 years out of high school. I remember I'm working as an ice cream scoop with these 16-year-old kids. They're talking about getting their license. I got a paper hat on. I'm thinking, the prettiest girl in my high school comes in and orders a cone off me. I'm standing there thinking, yeah, I'll get laid on this planet. So I just thank God I could tell a joke, because I don't know what the hell I'd be doing.
To get at all the vegetables in new Tostitos Ultimate Garden Salsa, they had to invent a more maneuverable chip. Introducing bite-sized Tostitos tortilla chips. And Ultimate Garden Salsa. The perfect chips for the perfect dip. Tostitos. Now's a good time.
There has never been a woman. There has never been a legend. There has never been a motion picture like Evita. Hollywood Pictures presents Madonna, Antonio Banderas, Jonathan Pryce in an Alan Parker film.
I kept my promise. Don't keep your distance.
Evita, rated PG. Now playing in select cities. Starts Friday, January 10th at a theater near you.
Here's the thing. Most long-distance plans, very complicated.
Oh, yeah.
But the AT&T one-rate plan, very simple.
How simple?
Calls from home are one low rate all the time.
How much?
It's 15 cents a minute to anybody in America at any time.
And this is AT&T.
That's right.
One rate all the time.
Exactly.
Is there any time when this is not the rate?
There is no time when this is not the rate.
I don't get it.
Am I just being unclear? No restrictions, no games. The AT&T one-rate plan.
Unchain my heart. Come, baby, let me go. Unchain my heart. 'Cause you don't love me no more.
Eldorado Touring Coupe with the 300 horsepower North Star system. Isn't it time you live without limits?
This instrument explores your fragile gums. A procedure for gingivitis. Help avoid gingivitis. Use Listerine. Only germ-killing Listerine is clinically proven to help prevent gingivitis. The power of prevention. Listerine.
Chew on this. Every month, millions of us go out for pasta, and almost nobody brings a toothbrush. Now, chew on this. Chewing Trident after meals can actually help you fight cavities. So when you can't brush, chew on this. Trident.
Thousands of women will lose a child to AIDS simply because they didn't get an HIV test when they were pregnant. You see, there's now treatment that can help stop the spread of HIV from mother to baby, which gives children of HIV-infected mothers something they never had before, a chance. If you're pregnant, please get an HIV test.
If you've watched us over the years, you know it's not all fun and one-liners here. Just about the worst nightmare for any parent is losing a child. And earlier this year, Gloria Vanderbilt was here and she shared an experience tragic beyond imagination. She watched as her own son leapt to his death from the balcony of her high-rise apartment. She told it this way.
Well, I screamed at him. I said, "Carter, what are you doing?"
And he said?
And he put his hand, it's, you know, it's awfully hard for me to talk about.
I know it is.
I can write it, but talking about it's different. Do you understand?
I understand. Yeah. When you want me to stop, you tell me to stop, I will stop.
And I knew that something terrible was happening, and I started down on my knees, you know, and he said, no, get up, don't do that, get up, get up. And I wanted to call out to him, "I'm your mother," but I didn't. And then you know, he could put his hand against me like that, don't like that, and I would have risked going to pull him off, but it was too far away. If it had been like where you are, right, I would have. And then a helicopter came overhead. It was still light out. It was around 7 o'clock, and then the helicopter came over, and then he looked up as if it was a signal. And before that, he started looking over, and he started looking over and looking down, and I said, I mean, I didn't say it. I was screaming at him. I said, "Carter, don't do this. Don't do this to me. Don't do this to Anderson. Don't do this to Daddy." And it was as if he didn't hear me. I mean, it was as if he was not himself. It was a... And then the helicopter went up over him, and he looked up, and as if it was a signal, he reached out to me. He reached out to me, and I went towards him. And as I did, he, like a gymnast, he went over the wall and hung down over the wall. And I said, Carter, come back. And for a minute, I thought he was going to. And then he just let go, you know.
Tough night. Tough night. Back after these messages.
Come on, you're gonna make us late. Hey, man, what is this with you? What's your problem? Chicken. Come on, Mike. You're gonna make us late. There's never a train here. Just go for it. No one's gonna see you. The light's probably broken. Yeah, let's go. Come on, Mike. Come on, chicken. Yeah!
I wish I hadn't listened to him.
AIDS is ruthless. It doesn't matter if you're gay or straight, male or female, or even what color you are. We're all at risk.
You should know, however, that African American women are the largest growing group of people with new infections of HIV, the virus that causes AIDS.
Abstinence is safest, but if you're not going to abstain, men, you got to use protection each and every time.
Stay healthy.
Stay safe.
Imagine, demand, and work for a cure.
Let's go!
Go for it! Yes!
All right!
Go! Speeding can give you a ride you'll never forget.
Hunger in America is real. I'm Emmylou Harris, and I'm involved with the Mama's Hungry Eyes campaign against hunger.
Join me in supporting the nationwide hunger relief efforts of Second Harvest.
Their network of food banks helps to feed millions of hungry people right here in America.
Call 1-800-532-FOOD to learn more about the Second Harvest Network or the Mama's Hungry Eyes campaign.
Hunger in America is real.
I want to make a confession here. On the last show before Christmas, I had my friend Elaine Webster, who works at the grocery store, to sing for you the Christmas song. And I said at the end, and now here she is, Elaine, my friend. At that moment, I couldn't have remembered her name if you put pins beneath my fingernails. So I just said, and now here she is, Elaine, 2, 3, 4, my friend. Anyway, we have a lot of clips that we didn't get to tonight, but then again, this is Anniversary Week. Stay with Steve Mason on audio tape on the radio now, and join us here tomorrow night, same time.
Try something different.
Call now for your free sample reading.
The people you've seen in this program all had great success with a PRN psychic reader. Some found self-confidence, some found love, some found money. Why should you be any different? Call PRN right now for a free sample reading and discover what could be coming in your life that you don't want to miss. Maybe we'll see you at the next PRN phone bank in your city. I'm Billy D. Williams for Psychic Readers Network. See ya.
Don't just watch. Participate. Experience it yourself without any cost at all. We'll give you the test reading for free. Call now.
I have no doubt. I know psychic guidance worked for me. You call and try it.
Believe me, I saw it, heard it, and felt it. Everyone got so much from their free sample reading.
Miracles can happen for you if you just give it a try.
Listen, it's a free sample reading. You can't lose anything, and you can gain so much. Try it now.
Call now. Get your free sample reading from Psychic Readers Network. The preceding was a paid presentation of New Lauderdale.
Are you receiving money from a structured settlement, annuity, or insurance claim? Do you have a need for cash now? At J.G. Wentworth, we've helped thousands of people settle their debts, buy new homes, pay college tuitions, and open new businesses. If you're currently receiving money from a structured settlement, annuity, or insurance claim, but you need money now, call J.G. Wentworth. Call now. Operators are standing by. Call 1-800-FUND-582.
The International Culinary Academy. It's about commitment, vision, taste, success. At the International Culinary Academy, 18 months of extensive study with highly qualified chefs creates graduates sought after by the finest restaurants and resorts. The International Culinary Academy. It's about doing something you've dreamed of. To find out more, call 1-800-447-8324. That's 1-800-447-8324.
On the next Montel Win Show, a warning.
We set our drinks down to go dancing, and we noticed something was wrong.
The next time you go out, you could be the victim of a brutal attack, and you may never know about it.
I remember laying on a bed, and I remember one guy coming in, and then he left, and I remember another guy coming in.
There's roofies, GHB, and Special K, and they're the drugs of choice for men who prey on women. Were you raped that night?
Yes.
How to avoid falling victim to the date rape pill on the next Montel.
Wednesday afternoon at 4, right here on TV 27.
CBS, welcome home.